What if the unseen hands that shaped the pyramids whispered in the ears of kings and lit the torches of secret brotherhoods still move among us, cloaked not in robes, but in algorithms, advertisements, and agendas? What if the occult, the hidden, the veiled, the forbidden knowledge is not locked away in crumbling grimoires or forgotten temples, but pulsing through the very fabric of modern life, shaping your thoughts, desires, and decisions without you ever realizing it? You've felt it, haven't you? That subtle pull beneath the surface of daily existence, a sense that something more is at play. The way certain symbols repeat in films, logos, and architecture. The uncanny synchronicities that defy coincidence. The rise of movements that feel engineered, not organic. These are not random. They are echoes, resonances of an ancient current flowing beneath the world we see. A current known to the mystics, the alchemists, and the initiates of the inner chambers. This is not a video about conspiracy theories. This is not about fear. This is about awakening. About recognizing the invisible architecture of influence that has been refined over millennia by the Hermetic sages of Egypt, the Gnostic rebels of antiquity, the Rosicrucian dreamers of the Renaissance, and the shadow architects of the modern age. The occult has never been about black magic or devil worship. Those are distortions, smokescreens. True occultism is the study of hidden forces, energies, symbols, and consciousness itself that shape reality from behind the veil. In this journey, we will uncover how these ancient currents have been woven into the institutions, technologies, and cultural narratives of today. From the sacred geometry embedded in corporate logos to the ritualistic patterns of social media, from the archetypes that govern politics to the alchemy of advertising, the occult is not dead. It has simply gone underground, and it is more powerful than ever. We will explore its roots in forgotten wisdom, decode its modern manifestations, and most importantly, learn how to see it, understand it, and ultimately master it. Because once you recognize the hidden hand, you are no longer its puppet. You become the initiate. Prepare to look beyond the veil. The Serpent scroll is about to be unrolled. Long before the glow of smartphones illuminated our faces in the dark, before the rise of empires and the fall of civilizations, there existed a knowledge so potent, so transformative, that it was guarded by silence, encoded in myth, and passed only from teacher to student under moonlit oaths. This was the occult, not in the sense of horror or superstition, but in its truest meaning, the hidden. From the Latin occultus, meaning concealed, secret, or invisible to the uninitiated. In the dimly lit sanctuaries of ancient Egypt, priests of Thoth whispered formulas beneath star maps carved into temple ceilings. They knew that words were not mere sounds, but vibrations capable of reshaping reality. The emerald tablet attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great sage, declared, "That which is above is like to that which is below. That which is below is like to that which is above." This Hermetic axiom, the law of correspondence, was not poetic metaphor. It was a blueprint of the cosmos, revealing that the microcosm of the human being mirrors the macrocosm of the universe. And if one could master the inner, they could influence the outer. Fast forward to the mystery schools of Greece, where Pythagoras taught his disciples not just mathematics, but the music of the spheres, the idea that numbers are living entities, that geometry is sacred, and that the soul ascends through harmonic alignment. The initiate was not just educated, he was initiated, transformed, awakened to a deeper layer of existence. Then came the Gnostic spiritual rebels, who claimed that the material world was not the creation of the true God, but of a lesser, deceptive being they called the demiurge. Their scriptures, buried for centuries and rediscovered in Nag Hammadi, speak of gnosis, direct, experiential knowledge of the divine, as the only path to liberation. To them, the real occult war was not fought with spells, but with awareness. To see through the illusion was to break free. In the Renaissance, Figures like John Dee, the advisor to Queen Elizabeth, the first merged angelic magic, alchemy, and early science into a unified quest for divine knowledge. He spoke of the hieroglyphic monad, a symbol said to contain the key to all creation. Meanwhile, secret societies like the Rosicrucians emerged, claiming to guard a perennial wisdom that transcended religion and time, a philosophia perennis that could awaken humanity to its true potential. These were not fringe fanatics. They were the original scientists, philosophers, and visionaries who understood that reality is layered, that behind the veil of the physical world lies a realm of symbols, energies, and archetypes, what Carl Jung would later call the collective unconscious. And those who mastered this inner realm could shape the outer. But power always seeks control. Over time, this wisdom was suppressed, distorted, or co-opted. The Church condemned it. The Enlightenment dismissed it as superstition, yet it never died. It went underground into Freemasonry, into esoteric orders, into the arts, and eventually into the very structures of modern society. Because the true occult is not about summoning spirits. It is about influence. And influence, once the domain of priests and kings, has found a new temple, the modern world. Imagine reality as a vast, living tapestry, woven not from thread, but from energy, symbol, and consciousness. On the surface, we see the world as it appears: cities, screens, headlines, trends. But beneath this visible layer runs a deeper current, a hidden architecture of meaning, shaped by forces most never perceive. This is the realm of the occult, not magic in the theatrical sense, but the science of unseen influence. At the heart of this influence lies a principle known to the ancients. Symbolism is power. A symbol is not merely a sign or a logo. It is a psychic key, a concentrated packet of meaning that bypasses the rational mind and speaks directly to the subconscious. The eye atop the pyramid on the US dollar bill? That is not just a historical emblem. It is the Eye of Providence, echoing the Egyptian Eye of Horus, the all-seeing eye of divine awareness, now embedded in the global currency system. It watches, it suggests, it implants the idea of surveillance, destiny, and higher order, all without a single word. This is no accident. The architects of modern society, whether knowingly or as inheritors of ancient traditions, have long understood that symbols shape perception. The cross, the pentagram, the Ouroboros serpent eating its tail each carries energetic resonance, a frequency that activates archetypal patterns within the human psyche. And today, these symbols have been repurposed, sanitized, and embedded into our daily lives. Consider the modern corporation. Apple the bitten apple, a symbol layered with meaning, knowledge, temptation, the fall of man, the fruit from the tree of knowledge in Eden. Whether intentional or archetypally inevitable, the name and logo evoke a deep primal narrative. Nike, the winged goddess of victory, their swoosh, a symbol of motion, ascent, triumph. It doesn't sell shoes. It sells transcendence. This is symbolic alchemy, the transformation of spiritual and esoteric concepts into cultural and commercial forces. And it operates through ritual. Not ritual as in candlelit incantations, but ritual as repetition, pattern, and collective participation. Every time you unlock your phone, scroll through feeds like a post, or watch a viral story, you are engaging in a digital ritual. You bow your head, focus your attention, and offer your energy, your attention, to an unseen altar. The occult teaches that energy follows attention. Where you focus, power flows. And modern systems have mastered this law. Social media platforms are not just tools, they are psychic engines, designed using behavioral psychology, ancient persuasion techniques, and even principles of initiation. They trigger dopamine, create dependency, and condition the mind to respond to stimuli, much like the mystery schools once conditioned initiates to perceive higher truths. But here's the deeper truth. the structure of initiation has been inverted. In ancient times, the initiate underwent trials to awaken consciousness, to break free from illusion. Today, the masses undergo a reverse initiation, a descent into distraction, emotional manipulation, and symbolic conditioning that keeps them asleep. The same archetypes that once led to enlightenment, the hero, the shadow, the sage, are now used in advertising, politics, and entertainment to control, not liberate. This is the first layer of the occult's modern influence, the hijacking of symbols, rituals, and archetypes to shape perception, behavior, and belief, all while appearing utterly ordinary. And once you see this, you begin to notice the patterns everywhere. The real question is, will you remain a passive participant, or will you reclaim your awareness? But the occult's influence does not end with symbols and rituals. It extends into the very architecture of thought, the invisible frameworks that shape how we perceive reality, truth, and ourselves. This is where the ancient art of mental alchemy converges with modern systems of control, creating what can only be described as a spiritual battlefield disguised as progress. Consider language. The occult has always known that words are spells. In Hebrew mysticism, the true name of God is said to hold creative power so sacred it is never spoken. In Vedic tradition, mantras are not prayers, but sonic formulas that align the soul with cosmic frequencies. Today, this principle is weaponized. Think of the phrases that saturate your mind daily. You deserve this. Be yourself. Trending now. Breaking news. These are not neutral statements. They are incantations designed to implant desires, shape identity, and trigger emotional responses. Advertising doesn't inform. It enchants. It bypasses logic and speaks to the soul's longing for belonging, power, and meaning. And then there is time, perhaps the most subtle and profound tool of occult influence. The ancients did not experience time as a linear march toward productivity. For them, time was cyclical, sacred, aligned with the rhythms of nature and the cosmos. The Babylonians, the Mayans, the Druids all lived by lunar cycles, solstices, and celestial alignments. But modern society operates on mechanical time, a construct designed to fragment attention, induce urgency, and create a sense of perpetual lack. The clock is not neutral. It is an occult device, a tool of enclosure, much like the walls of a prison. It conditions you to live in the future, planning, worrying, or the past, regretting, remembering, rarely in the present, the only moment where true power resides. Now, consider the deeper layer, the occultation of the self. In esoteric traditions, the goal was self-realization, to awaken the divine spark within, to become the magus, the sovereign being who commands reality through inner mastery. But in the modern world, this journey has been inverted. Instead of turning inward, we are constantly pulled outward into comparison, consumption, and confusion. The ego is inflated by likes and followers, yet the soul is starved. This is not evolution. It is spiritual dismemberment, the fragmentation of the self into personas, avatars, and roles dictated by algorithms and social expectation. Even science, often seen as the antithesis of the occult, has become a new kind of priesthood. Quantum physics reveals that observation affects reality, that particles exist in probability, until measured echoing the Hermetic truth that consciousness creates. Yet this knowledge is buried beneath jargon, institutional gatekeeping, and materialist dogma. The veil is not gone, it has simply changed form. And here lies the ultimate paradox. The tools of liberation are being used to deepen enslavement. The internet, a potential global Akashic record, a network of collective awakening, has become a surveillance matrix and attention economy. Meditation apps commodify ancient practices. Spirituality is sold as self-help. The sacred is made trendy, then discarded. But the key to seeing through this lies in a single realization. Nothing is random. Every symbol, every narrative, Every crisis and hero story pushed into your awareness has a function. The occult doesn't control through force. It controls through invitation. It invites you to believe, to fear, to desire, to conform all while feeling free. Yet within this web of influence lies a secret. Awareness is the antidote. To see the pattern is to step outside of it. And once you do, you are no longer a subject. You become the alchemist, the initiate, the one who sees and therefore, the one who can choose. Now that you've begun to see the hidden threads, the real work begins not in theory, but in practice. For the occult was never meant to be merely studied. It was meant to be lived. And in a world saturated with subtle influences, your greatest power lies not in resistance, but in reclamation, the conscious reclamation of your attention, your symbols, and your inner sovereignty. Let me guide you 3 practical techniques ancient in origin, yet urgently relevant today. First, the daily banishing ritual, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, modern adaptation. This is not about mysticism for mysticism's sake. This is energetic hygiene. Just as you wash your body, you must cleanse your psychic field. Each morning, stand facing east. Breathe deeply. Visualize a brilliant point of light above your head. Trace an imaginary pentagram before you in the air, filled with white or golden light. As you do, declare inwardly, I am centered, I am clear, I am sovereign. This act, simple as it seems, does something profound. It establishes psychic boundaries. It signals to your subconscious and the unseen currents around you that you are not open to random influences. You are not a passive receiver. You are a conscious transmitter. Second, symbolic awareness practice. Choose one day each week. Call it your day of seeing. On this day, become a detective of symbols. Notice logos, architecture, media imagery, even gestures in films. Ask, what archetype does this represent? What emotion does it trigger? What hidden message is being conveyed? The golden arches of a fast food chain? The phoenix in a movie franchise? The repeated use of the number 3 in advertisements? This is not paranoia, it is initiatic perception. Over time, you'll begin to see the patterns, and with that seeing, your mind becomes immune to their spell. Break the tyranny of the clock. Once a day, for just 10 minutes, step outside of mechanical time. Go to a quiet place. Close your eyes. Breathe. Let go of past and future. Simply be. Then ask, what does my soul need right now? Listen. No agenda. No rush. This is your direct line to inner wisdom. The same wisdom the oracles of Delphi and the sages of Alexandria accessed. In these moments, you reverse the modern occult programming. You return to cyclical, sacred time, the time of the eternal now. Now, you may face resistance, doubt, distraction, the pull of old habits. This is natural. The mind conditioned by years of subtle influence will resist awakening. When this happens, remember, you are not breaking the system. You are simply remembering your own power. Return to the breath. Return to the symbol. Return to the stillness. These practices are not quick fixes. They are initiations. And each time you perform them with awareness, you weave a new thread into your own hidden tapestry, one of clarity, strength, and freedom. Because in the end, the true occult secret is this: the one who sees cannot be controlled. We began with a question: how does the occult influence modern society? And now, you know it is not a matter of secret handshakes or shadowy cabals. It is far more subtle and far more profound. The occult lives in the symbols that shape your desires, the rituals that structure your days, the language that programs your mind, and the very perception of time that keeps you trapped in urgency and lack. It is not an enemy. It is a force neutral in itself, but wielded by those who understand its laws. But here is the truth they never reveal in temples or textbooks. You are already part of this hidden current. Your attention, Your breath, your thoughts, they are all forms of energy. And energy, when directed with awareness, becomes power. The same symbols that manipulate the masses can be reclaimed as tools of awakening. The same rituals that enslave can be transformed into acts of liberation. The same archetypes that sell you dreams can guide you to your destiny. You are not a victim of the unseen. You are a participant. And now, you are becoming a master. So I leave you with this. The next time you see a logo, scroll through your feed, or hear a phrase repeated like a mantra, pause. Breathe. Ask, who benefits from this? What am I being invited to believe? And most importantly, what do I choose? Because the final initiation is not about knowing the secrets. It is about living beyond them, to see the veil and walk through it anyway, to dwell in the world but not be of it, to be awake while the dream continues around you. If this resonates, if something within you has stirred, know that you are not alone. The Serpent Scroll is uncoiling for those ready to read it. Subscribe, reflect, awaken, and remember, the hidden is only hidden until you decide to see. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay curious, and above all, stay initiated.